after reviewing the LSU game, it was a great job of the players, showing a lot of competitive character, overcoming adversity, playing through a lot of tough situations in the game, playing in a tough atmosphere. Some of the situations that we had to overcome, we created with a bit of our lack of execution, mental errors, which are things that we definitely need to correct so that we can play with more consistency in the future. We got a really good opponent this week, so it's going to be really important that our players sort of put that game behind them, as emotional as it may have been. And as I said afterwards, games like this can either bring out the best in you or the worst in you, and it's all your choice in terms of how you view the future and what you need to do relative to the challenges that the next team presents, which is pretty significant in Texas A&M's case. But we had some players of the week. DJ Fluker and Cyrus Kwanjo did a great job, and Kevin Norwood obviously had a very good game and being named SEC, Player of the Week. Defensive or honorable mention, defensively Adrian Hubbard, who was a defensive player, and Xavier Dixon, special teams Cody Mandel and Vinny. The only guy that will not practice today is Eddie, who should be okay by tomorrow. Just a little banged up, he's had a little ankle and tweaked it a little bit in the game. But, we're hopeful that, Cooper didn't really re-injure himself. He was just a little sore, that he's going to be able to practice and be ready to go, this week. This is Texas A&M is obviously a very, very good team. They only have 2 losses, both to top 10 teams by 3 and 5 points. They lead one of the leading offensive teams in the country, certainly in our conference. Johnny Manziel is, he is a terrific player, can do a lot of things, creates a lot of plays, extends a lot of plays. He's a great scrambler, a very effective passer. They're in the spread, no-huddle, going fast. He does a really good job of executing it. They've got good receivers. They've got good runners. They've got a really good offensive line. Defensively, they're very aggressive, do a lot of stunning, blitzing, trying to load the box on you. They've done a good job in scoring defense, and they're one of the highest ranked teams in special teams, in the SEC in several different categories. So this is a very, very good team. It's a totally different presentation in terms of what we have to defend and what we have to play against offensively, and it's going to take a lot of good focus and preparation on our part to come out and play a good game. We're looking forward to being at home and playing in Tiger Stadium, and hopefully our fans will give us a bunch of emotional support, which our team certainly would appreciate.
I just wanted, Marvin Shin had to play a lot in the second half because of Mari Cooper being out. How did he respond to that? And
he did a good job. I mean, I thought he did a really good job, and he was open 1 or 2 times, and one throw we missed him on, but he did a good job. He's come along and done a nice job for us all year long.
I'm just wondering, Texas A&M has really just jumped out on teams, and even in games that have ended up being close. I mean, what is it about them that even when you prepare for them, they come out strong like that?
Well, I think they're the up-tempo, play fast, probably gets people on their heels a little bit in terms of it's hard to simulate the tempo that they play with in practice. So I think that's probably one of the most difficult things that the defense has to adjust to. And, hey, they do a good job. They've got a really good offensive concept, and they do a really good job of executing it. They've got balance, run, and pass, and they make a ton of big plays. And it's going to be important that we can get our players lined up and playing what you have to defend, which is the quarterback scrambling, very good passing game, and ability to run the ball. So that's a lot of keys, a lot of discipline, eye control involved in this game.
Who's going to play the part of Manziel on the scout team this week?
Well, if we had somebody that could play that part, we'd play him. He'd be playing. So, Blake Sims probably will try to do it some, at least the running part, the scrambling part. But, we also got to prepare our team to do what we have to do. And so that's the best we could do probably athletically at the quarterback position to give us a look at that.
Also, LSU threw the ball pretty effectively on you. Were they just finding some soft spots in the zone in the secondary, or were there blown assignments, or what?
No, we just didn't do a very good job. We weren't very aggressive. We didn't play man-to-man coverage very well. We just didn't play very well. And I think, the fact that we could not get off the field on third down in the second half especially, I think they hit 7 in a row in 2 scoring drives. And we didn't do as good a job on third down offensively ourselves, was really a big part of the game. So, even though they moved the ball, we still created lots of third down situations, and we could have got out of both drives if we could have got off the field on third down. So that's something that we need to address and certainly do a better job of, because, we didn't cover them in man-to-man. We didn't break on the ball well enough in zone. Just fundamentally didn't play what we needed to play to be able to have success.
A couple questions. First off, we talk a lot about A&M's offense, but their defense seems to have improved across the board this year. What have you seen from them in that regard?
No, their defense is really good. They're very aggressive. They do a lot of different things. They run a lot of pressures. Really play a lot of, they blitz. They're very, very aggressive in terms of loading the box and, forcing you to. They're going to stop the run just about at all cost. They're just very, very aggressive, and they've got good players, and they've been pretty successful doing the things that they do.
And you talked a little bit about this, but the 24-hour rule, is it a little harder, a little more important to enforce that when you're coming off a game like that, and you also have another good one coming in?
Well, I think that's to every player, making a choice. I think that, there's some obvious examples in, this game that when you don't do the right things, when you don't pay attention to detail, there's going to be consequences for it. And I think that regardless of the outcome, I think players need to understand the importance of paying attention to detail and doing the little things right so that we can get those things fixed. And we got to forget about this last game. We got to move on. We've got to, I told the players that right after the game, and I think they have a lot of respect for this team. Be pretty difficult not to respect this team based on their body of work and what they've accomplished this season.
Coach, y'all haven't seen a lot of fullbacks this year, and J.C. Copeland is one of the best. What was the challenge in dealing with him as a lead blocker?
Well, he's a very, very good blocker. He's very aggressive. He's very physical. He's 275-pound, kind of fire plug kind of guy that's hard to get leverage on. Obviously, on the one pass he caught in the flat, we couldn't get him tackled. 2 guys missed a tackle, and he ran for about 50 yards, which was a really big play in the game. But I think the guy is probably as good a blocker at his position as anybody in college football.
Nick, you teach your players to be very positive, to push through adversity, even going back to the heat of fall practice. And I just wonder, though, if you have any concerns about what you said a few weeks ago about the no-huddle and what a tremendous advantage it is for the offense, that maybe you might have put some negative thoughts in your defensive players' minds.
They weren't going no-huddle on a Saturday. It's the worst we played all year on defense. So how do you explain that? Maybe we should have asked them to go no-huddle. Maybe we would have played better. I think everybody misinterpreted what I said about no-huddle. I don't mind playing against no-huddle. We don't mind that at all. So that wasn't what I said. It's what you all interpreted it to be. I just asked the question, is this what we want the game to become? And that's for you to answer. But that doesn't mean we don't like playing against it. We don't mind playing against it. It is what it is. And our players don't mind playing against it. We played a little better against it than we did when the other team huddled up this past week. It's the worst we played all year on defense, by far. How do you explain that? Can I ask you that question? How would you explain that? I mean, such an insightful question that you ask me. I'm trying to get some insight in what I'm asking you. How do you explain that? Oh, okay. And you don't have to answer, I do.